Morning everybody, welcome back to Life on the Run. See where I am though, can't you? Yeah, when Pat and I got married, of course everybody thought she was pregnant. Everybody thought she was too young, and everybody thought we won't stay together. Right, so now, out of the blue, after 4 years of marriage, Pat gets pregnant. Wow. And I had not a paternal instinct in my body. But then, that's just the way I am. Yeah, we were now going to be a family. And that was all right. But I made a cock up when ambulance come, of course. I rang the ambulance and I told, they asked me which hospital Pat was registered with, where she was supposed to go, and I said St James's, but it wasn't, it was St Mary's. But fortunately Pat had enough about her to correct them, so they did take her to the right hospital. But no sooner had Pat gone into hospital than I got a massive asthma attack. My father found me. I hadn't been to bed for 2 days, 2 nights, and I was just more or less delirious, gasping for breath, and he rang the ambulance and they carted me off to Leeds Infirmary. So Pat's in St Mary's having Tracy, and I'm in Leeds Infirmary having asthma. Yeah, and they did loads of tests on me and said that I was allergic to my own adrenaline in the end. But that's when this new medication come out. I've been on all sorts, not worked. Different inhalers, different tablets. But then this inhaler come out, Becatide, which was a steroid. I'd never heard of it. I don't think any of us had heard of steroids. I didn't even know it was a steroid. But as soon as they put me on that, I've only ever had one attack since, and that, I'll maybe tell you about that when I was tuning a piano in a room with 8 cats. But that was many years later. So yeah, what I did was this asthma attack made me mind up, because I kept getting asthma and kept having days off, and people didn't believe me. You could be well one day, ill the next, and well the day after. They didn't believe me. They just thought I was swinging the lead, and that encouraged me to become self-employed. I thought, I've had enough of this. And anyway, I was no good as an employee. I would never toe the line. I'd never do what they wanted me to do. So I needed to be on my own, and that's what I did. I became self-employed, and what I did was I thought I wanted to paint. If I could paint in the day and work at night and weekends, that'd be fantastic. That's what I wanted to do. And that's what I did. I responded to an advert. They wanted a cleaner to work weekends at the head offices of Burton's. You know, Burton's Tailoring? Their head offices were in Leeds. Well, I responded to this ad, and the guy who met me there from Moat Floor Services was Harry. He were great, were Harry. And me and Harry got on, because Harry had been in forces like me, although he were a bandsman. Yeah, he were a musician. You won't believe this, but Harry played in the military band at the 1966 World Cup final at Wembley when we won the World Cup. And Harry played, walking around the pitch playing before the match started. Yeah, you're one of the bandsmen. Anyway, he was like the foreman at Morton. Me and him got on great, and he showed me how to use these machines for cleaning flooring and floors and how you did it. And I picked that up pretty quick. And when he realised I had a van, although it were an old banger, it was a van, he told Wilf, the boss, the owner of Moat, that I could be quite useful to him because I didn't want a full-time job. But I had a van and I was happy to work part-time because I wanted to be an artist. And that's what happened. I did get another job at Shelmex and BP House on an evening, cleaning in there on Edrow in Leeds. So that was me, working weekends and evenings and painting all day. And that's what I liked, although I was crap, I couldn't paint. I didn't know what to paint, I just copied things. Yeah, I eventually did figure out I painted a tap in a desert. And I painted the front of a semi-detached house on Moon with a lunar module parked in drive. I did that. But by and large, I just copied other paintings, read loads of books, and that's how I got on, you know. And I was frightened to death when Tracy came home, this tiny little thing. We hadn't a clue, but of course Pat was brilliant, you might know. She just seemed to know what to do. And the trouble was, it was as though Tracy, tiny baby that she was, knew that I was useless because every time Pat left her with me, she just screamed. And I'd just walk out the house and walk round the block. And when Pat found out I did that, she wouldn't leave her with me anymore after that. So yeah, so there we were. That's how we were living, on bloody peanuts. We were living on peanuts, but we weren't in debt. We were paying us way. Yeah. But like a lot of things in life, things, the tail starts to wag the dog. And that did eventually start to happen as they found out I picked things up and they found out I were useful and they started giving me more and more work. And I was going off on my own, and then even Pat would come with me. And we cleaned weekends at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Foods in Leeds. We did banks. Pat and I went all over. I went all over. Did Leeds and Bradford Airport because he found out they weren't doing job right, so he sacked them all. And he asked me to go in. I worked all through night, Leeds and Bradford Airport, until he got some new staff in. Yeah. Now, there was something happened behind. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Now, during all this time, I was working with Harry on some weekends, and we were working together at the Co-op in Leeds on a night. It were round about that time my dad had his first heart attack. What was I going to say? Just let me think. Yeah, I came home from work one day and Pat said, Trevor, there's a house for sale in Rodley, and for £1,000. I said, £1,000? Are you sure it ain't a misprint? She said, that's what it says. Because this street we're living on in Armley, we weren't going to stay there. I didn't like it. In fact, we had some prostitutes living next door to us, and the row that they made on a night was terrible. So I walked up to the phone box and rang this bloke, Eric Dawson from Rodley Motors owned this property in Rodley, and I said, is this not a misprint? Is that right, £1,000? He says, yes. And it's still for sale? He says, yeah. I said, can I come and see it? He says, yes. So I met him down there and he let me in. And this place, on the main street running through Rodley, I walked in the door and it was full from floor to ceiling of American car parts in boxes and all sorts, gearboxes, engines, exhaust pipes. Eric Dawson from Rodley Motors, he was the #1 in England for American car spares apparently. And he just dumped, what a dumping ground for all these obsolete car parts. Every floor, every bedroom was just full from floor to ceiling. It were a dump. It were unlivable virtually. And he took me down into the basement and there were a door at the back. And he opened this door. And oh my God, I walked out into this little yard and there is the Leeds and Liverpool Canal running right by. The yard wall was the canal wall. It was just that close. And over the other side of the canal was Rodley Fold Farm, green fields. I mean, I'm in Leeds. And you go to the back, Rodley Lane at front, just, you're in Leeds. You go right back of this house and it's like being in countryside. I couldn't hear anything. And I just thought, my God, I've got to have this place. It was absolutely incredible. Well, I've always been a money manager. I can always manage my money. We've always lived on peanuts, but I've always managed my money. We've never been in debt. And we had tins and we put everything in tins. The rent, the electric, the gas, the rates, everything went in tins every week. And, well, he said, the first person to get me 100 quid, I need 100 quid cash straight away. It's theirs. I'll reserve it, it's yours. So I went, raided every penny I had, and I didn't have it, I was 25 quid short, and I went to my mum and dad's and I begged them for 25 quid to buy this house, and they lent me this £25, and I went and I took this 100 quid and slapped it down at the counter. I said, there you are, 100 quid. There were a bloke there wanting to buy it, and he didn't have any cash, he only had a cheque, and Eric says, I don't want a cheque, I want cash. And he says, it's yours. So I got it. And that's how I come to get what was to become the Breadline Gallery. All right, see you later.